Hi there, I'm Randall Preiser, clinical hypnotherapist, and I'm going to give you a demonstration of conversational hypnotherapy and how in what appears to be a normal conversation an individual can come to some resolution of an issue. And I'm going to invite Carrie in a moment, and I have no idea what her issue may be, and we'll see what happens. But I want you to look for elements, indicators of a mild trance, and where suggestions might be being administered in the course of a normal conversation that are going to be beneficial to help Carrie resolve whatever it is that she brings to us today. Okay, Carrie, you want to join us? Hi there. So, how you doing?
Good.
And what's going on?
So I got some interesting news this morning.
You got some interesting news.
Yes, I found out that the gentleman who's been my interim boss, who had some deficiencies in his current role. You know, he definitely had some areas where he could use some development.
Yeah.
But he is being now promoted from a manager to a director position.
He's being promoted from a manager to a director's position.
Correct.
And how does that make you feel?
You know, when I was told that he was getting this promotion, it was by the VP of HR, who also followed up and said, by the way, you'll be working with him closely to help him develop the skills that he needs in order to take on this role, which I thought was interesting, since he's being promoted to the position of my boss, and yet I'm supposed to be the one who develops him to be an effective boss.
That's pretty interesting.
It is.
So, what's your feelings about that?
You know, I sort of feel like it was wrong to promote somebody who wasn't successful in their current role. I get the feeling that the promotion was based on the fact that he's been a long-term employee, and so they think he deserves to be promoted, whether or not he actually has the ability.
So you have concerns about whether he has the ability?
Right.
And you think something was wrong in doing that,
right.
So somebody made a mistake.
Yeah, but I'm also kind of sad because it means that I'm not going to have the kind of boss that is, you know, just brilliant and challenges you and pushes you to the next level. Instead, it's going to be me trying to challenge and push him to the next level.
And you feel that you're sad about that.
It is sort of sad.
And a little disappointed, perhaps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what do you think you're going to do about that?
I think the good news is I'm sort of in a position of power. Since I'm the one who's supposed to be helping him develop his skills, I can sort of teach him to be the sort of boss that I want.
So you're in a position of power. Yeah. And so there's an opportunity there.
There is.
Yeah. That's great. You know, as you know, I sometimes talk to a lot of people, because that's the business I'm in. The role I'm in is talking with people. And I remember a fellow who had a similar situation. And we were talking. Now, it wasn't about his job. It was about, I think it was, he was a triathlete, a runner. You know, a swimmer, runner, this, that, and the other. And they brought in a new coach. And the coach was someone who really wasn't in great shape. And I remember this fellow was telling me, this client was telling me that when he first saw this coach, he was sort of disappointed, let down, because here's this fellow who's not in very good shape, going to train triathletes, which is a very rigorous position. And he said he started having dreams about it. He had a couple of disturbing dreams, very strange and weird dreams. And of course, dreams are strange anyway, aren't they? Yeah. They are. And I'll tell you about this dream. Of course, I won't tell you the name of the person, but it doesn't matter. But his dream took him, he was swimming way out in the middle of the ocean, but it was pretty calm, but he was way out there by himself, you know. himself. And he was swimming, and he began to get tired. And in his dream, he was looking down. The water was very clear. He could see very deep. And he started to notice, or it occurred to him, that he was swimming, but he wasn't going anywhere. And he was starting to get tired. And that started to work on him. He was wondering, how long can I keep swimming like this? And because of maybe the current, I'm not going anywhere. But yet he kept going. He kept swimming and stroking. And then a boat came along with an old fisherman. And he was rowing in the stream. And the old fisherman looked down at my friend who was swimming and said, "You all right?" And my friend sort of went over and side-stroked for a while. He says, "Yeah, but I'm a little bit tired." And the fisherman said, "Well, would you like to come aboard for a little while and we can have a chat? I've got some food here and something to drink. And we can have a little chat, and then you can go back and do your swimming as we go along." And he says, "I would." So he got out of the water and came onto the rowboat with the fisherman. And he had some sandwiches, and they had something good to eat. And the fisherman seemed to be an old man, but somebody very wise and very good. He seemed to know a lot about the sea. And he talked with this man for a long time about how the sea works. And how there's different currents, and how sometimes the currents go this way and currents go that way, and how sometimes the waves come up, and how sometimes it's really flat. And then there's the winds. So there's a lot going on the sea. And then sometimes the fish run, and sometimes there's no fish. And then he said sometimes there's sharks. But yet, even with the sharks, sometimes the porpoises come in and chase the sharks away. And that to learn to swim in the ocean, there's some insights that you can have. But the first thing is to go with the flow. See, because if you try to swim against the current, the old man said, you can get pretty tired. And my friend said, yes, I understand. So he said, well, what do I do when it's against the current? And he said, well, everybody knows that knows how to swim in the ocean. You go sideways a little bit, and the water will take you out that way. And then the current's finished, and then you can start swimming forward. So you sort of go with the current, and it'll pull you to where you need to go. And he says, well, what about if the waves come? He says, if the waves come up, you breathe on one side or the other. So in other words, you can learn to adapt. And then it gets to be a lot of fun. And sometimes the waves will come behind you and push you along. And that's a lot of fun, sort of surfing. But if you have to go against the waves, you go through them. That's right. And so my friend woke up from that dream, and he felt a lot better because there was something about the wisdom of what that fisherman told him.